Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, the award-winning Amazon merchant and best-selling author from Long Island, New York. Here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hey there, Amazon sellers. My name is Jordan Malik. I'm the host of the Ask Jordan podcast. This is our 93rd episode. Hey, thank you so much for making me part of your day. A little bit of housekeeping before we continue. If you have a question that you want to submit to the podcast, please check our previous episodes. Go to askjordan.net. You'll see our older episodes there, and then a link to our archives for even further back. Your question may already be answered. If you think that I've blown you off, it's not intentional. I've been catching up to a lot of questions that are like 2, 3, 4 months submitted to me 2 or 3, 4 months ago. But if you think that I've blown you off, please send me an email. Go to jordanmalik.com/email, jordanmalik.com/email, or just go to askjordan.net. Look for the little envelope icon near the upper right-hand corner of the page. Send me an email. If you think your question has not been answered, I'll do my best to help you or redirect you or get you the right answer or the right resource. Also, if you're listening to this and you've never sold on Amazon before, you're just like listening to this out of curiosity, welcome to the show. But there's some free information for you to get started if you want to learn how to start selling on Amazon, registering your account, etc. If you head over to jordanmalik.com/resources, and I'll include a link in today's show notes for you, jordanmalik.com/resources. Near the upper part of that page, the top part of that page, there's a section called Amazon Seller Help for Beginners, or Beginner Seller Amazon Help. It's near the top of all those resources, and there's a good 5, 6 links to either downloadable books or pages, web pages, where you can, very easily and simply follow on how to get started selling on Amazon. Now, this is the podcast where we only answer your questions about selling on Amazon. Every episode, we answer a different question from you, the listener, about selling on Amazon. If you missed an episode, head over to askjordan.net, askjordan.net. You'll see our most recent episodes there, or a link to our archived episodes. You can find us on YouTube, on Stitcher, on Podbay, and on iTunes. And if you want to hear your voice on an episode and get 7 of my best-selling ebooks 100% free, I'm going to tell you how to do that after we answer today's question. And today's question is from Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Jordan, what's up? Mark from Oregon. I got a question about your inventory, how you keep track of your prices as far as your profit margin you get. So I was thinking about every item I buy, go to garage sales, do my thing, come back from auction, got a whole bunch of inventory. I was thinking manually putting in like Evernote or something like that, keeping track of how much I paid for each item. And then when it sells, I could see how much it sold for, keep track of my profit margins. Then I got back from the auction and I looked at all the stuff that I have to do to put in manually. And I thought that's kind of crazy. So I was wondering if that's something you just got to do, because it seems like it'd take a long time to get a whole bunch of magazines or something. Label each one, how much you paid for each one to try to get your profit margins dialed in. So I was wondering what the pros do. I'm just starting out. I'm wondering if you guys even keep track. Am I wasting my time? Because I was kind of thinking all that time I could be sourcing or doing something else. So I was curious on how you keep track on your profits. Cool. Hope to get my questions answered, and if not, that's cool. Thanks, man.
Hey, Mark, thank you for asking that. That's a terrific question. Tracking your cost of goods sold, meaning what you pay for your inventory. You did mention magazines. I don't think Amazon generally has, is an ideal place to sell magazines. I'm not sure if you're asking about eBay, because the answers are going to differ a little bit for you. This is a podcast for Amazon sellers, so many of the resources I have are for Amazon, tracking your Amazon seller expenses, but I am going to have one in here that will also work for eBay. The reason that you want to track your costs is for a couple reasons. The major reason for most of us is auditing, right? So if you're like me, Mark, and you're not buying volumes of stuff, like if you're buying a lot of magazines here, books there, used toys here, garage sale there, this, that, one and the other, mix of goods. And if you ever get audited, although it's unlikely, but you do want to have the backup information in case they say they need to actually, they're asking you about a specific sale, right? If they say to you, okay, you sold this item on such and such date, where'd you get it? What'd you pay for it? you want to be able to have a paper trail going all the way down to the date where you purchased it, the date when you purchased it, and the costs, particularly the cost. And yes, it can be a little bit of a headache. There's a few ways to get to make it easier. If you're an Amazon seller, there is a solution that you can use when you're listing your products to Amazon, and that is called Inventory Lab. And I have a link to it, jordanmalik.com/inventory lab. I don't use that myself. I use a different solution because I haven't switched yet. I've been hearing a number of good things about Inventory Lab. That's why I'm recommending it. Many sellers are using it, and a lot of experts are saying that it's a great solution. And that will let you, when you got all your merchandise at home and you're listing it to Amazon and you're entering it into the Inventory Lab software, that will have a field where you can actually enter the cost of your item itself. Okay. I use to date, and I'm going to have a link to this, the eSales tracking sheet. And that is simply a spreadsheet that's purposely built for Amazon or eBay sellers. And I have a link to that in my show notes as well, eSales tracking. And that is more of a manual process where and it includes instructions for all this. You're taking you're downloading a specific report in Amazon, and then you're copying and pasting data within your Amazon seller pages, meaning your items for sale, and then you're copying and pasting that into the spreadsheet, and then you're adding your cost of goods sold that way. And as soon as you get caught up for the past several months doing that, and once you start doing it on a regular basis when you're getting inventory, it becomes more routine and more part of your procedure. And I'm sure there are other solutions. What we used to do back in the day is that when we had to assign a SKU, a merchant SKU to our products or merchant number for the item, we would add in a number. So if we were calling it 060115 underscore, and the two numbers after the underscore would be the cost of the item sold, right? So 060115 underscore 50 for $50, for instance, or 05 for $5. And that's a little more labor intensive. And I'm also going to include a link for a course. GoDaddy is a company that bought Outright. Outright is a tracking solution for Amazon sellers. I'm not sure if it works for eBay sellers too, but GoDaddy purchased them. And Jessica LaRue has released a very inexpensive course on using the GoDaddy bookkeeping solution, which I think you should also take a look at. So there's a few different ways to track your sales down to the dollar spent. I'm going to include all those links in the show notes. It is a good idea to do it, particularly when you get into, it's a necessity when you get into doing more volume, meaning higher volumes of singular SKUs. So if you start getting into buying wholesale or buying, larger quantities of goods or private labeling, etc., yes, you should be tracking your cost of goods sold closely. I understand that now it gets a little bit difficult. You said magazines. If you buy a lot of magazines, like say you buy a quantity 100 of magazines and you spent $150, you just want to maybe make a blanket cost for each one. So let's keep it more simple. So you have 100 magazines, you paid $100 for, it's $1 per magazine. You can easily copy and paste $1 in your spreadsheet. If you're using the spreadsheet solution I'm referring to, you can copy and paste that, for all 100 items. And, when in doubt, I also encourage anybody who takes their business seriously, you want to get an accountant. An accountant will help you. A CPA will say to you, here's the best way to track your cost of goods sold. And, they'll work with you if they know their stuff. It doesn't matter if they know e-commerce or not. There is a cost of goods sold or an acquisition cost or whatever for any business, whether it's you're selling pizza or selling legal services or whatever. Any good accountant will be able to help you with that. In the previous episodes, I talk about getting a CPA. So you definitely want to check that out as well. Thanks, Mark, for that question. Mark gets all 7 of my ebooks about selling on Amazon and eBay. Mark, just head over to askjordan.net, click on the small envelope icon near the upper right-hand corner, send me an email so I know where to send your ebooks to. And if you, the listener, want to submit a question to the podcast and have a chance to win all my best-selling ebooks just like Mark, call 516-619-6654 or go to askjordan.net. Scroll down, look for the directions on submitting your question using your PC microphone. Hey, thanks again for listening. This has been the Ask Jordan podcast. We'll see you again in our next episode.